I think I've ran it in at least 5 marathons. 2 Grant races. Grant being another spirit helper in this game, but we're not going to encounter him. I'm playing as Alucard here. Voltathon, May last year, another speedrunning marathon. I also ran the Alucard category, but I've definitely gotten way better at it since then. We've found way more new tricks since last year's of May. Then your first speedrunning marathon you had. I ran Sypha, and here we are again, 5th marathon that I'm going to be running Castlevania 3 in, and I'm going to be running Alucard again. Alright, so let's go. And I think I'll just name the file after, like, the first person who commented in the Twitch chat. But even then, before then, I'm going to let you know when the game starts and when it ends. So, like, the game would start as soon as Trevor comes on screen and you see him moving. That's when you would start the timer. And the game would end as soon as I grabbed the last orb, after killing Dracula, who's the final boss. And then the victory fanfare starts playing after you kill him. And I'm gonna call time when, of course, the run's over, and I'm gonna say now when the run starts. But that is more or less, like, timing rules for this game. Okay, let's just go. I'm probably holding everybody up. And time will start now. And in case you're wondering, I do have my own timer running as well. This more or less helps me keep track of how good my run's doing. Because I want to see just how good I can do during this marathon. I mean, when am I going to get another chance? That's okay, Gaming Land. I mean, I'm going to have my own timer just in case we need some sort of clarification. Like, if I'm not even close to any sort of good time, it's not really going to matter if you're a few seconds off. So yeah, stage 1, there is really not much for me to say about this one. It's more or less just grab sub-weapons, grab whip upgrades, get the shot multiplier on this. Everything in this stage is 100% controllable. There's really nothing to go on about here, just really boring stage, especially if you've done it 1,000 times like I have, or maybe even close to 2,000. Right, so you guys can hear me, right? Figured I'd just double check, because I didn't really check to see, like, if my mic audio was coming out on the stream. And there was also this recent discovery. I think it was JC that found this. Sure, you take more damage, but you're stopping less to hit enemies, so that's slightly faster than just doing it the old way. And I'll just put it out right there that Holy Water is busted. Especially once you get at least one sort of shot multiplier on it. Like, even double shot Holy Water's busted, but triple, that's just overkill. That is if you can just catch an enemy on the on a block or the ground or something like that. Yeah, ground-based enemies are anything you can catch on a block. You can just stun lock it and kill it in like a couple seconds. Easily. And that's just what we're going to do to most of the bosses in this run. except for the few that it's actually faster to just kill them with Alucard. But pretty much everything else Trevor's gonna fight. Because Alucard's not a very good fighter, but he has his own tricks that Trevor doesn't. Now we're gonna go on to stage 3. We skip stage 2 because that's actually optional. Unless you want to play as Grant, which I said we're not going to. I did used to run Grant, but I'm not running it now, so stage 2, completely we can ignore it. Now stage 3 really starts with these owls. They're semi-randomized. They're usually pretty frustrating sometimes to try and get around and not get hit too much by them. But even then, I've come up with methods that just make them more consistent than, like, say, without using those methods. Particularly, there's this one owl that you will have to jump through, potentially, because you have to jump over 2 water pits. And I've come up with methods of making that more consistent, because that owl that I just jumped past can easily push you back and make you lose time. Easily. Oh. Okay, I'm just gonna make sure that I don't get hit too many extra times, because I do want to maybe keep a safety net for stage 4. Well, mainly the first part of stage 4, because there's going to be these jumping frogs that you'll have to react to very quickly if you want to do the first screen without having to stop too much. You either have to take your time here or react lightning fast to get past these frogs, so that's why I want to keep a bit of health to spare. Could have got a better pattern than that. Sometimes you're literally just guessing as to when the frogs are going to pop out of the swamp. As much as I would be tempted to reset, like, let's just say if this wasn't a marathon run, I probably would have reset, but of course we're going to keep going. I mean, that was a really minor slip-up compared to what else could happen in this game. That was on stage 3. That plus I was also kind of scared that I might get a random weapon drop, because this game has random weapon drops that could easily just screw you over, because most of the time, in all honesty, you're usually trading down when you get a weapon drop at random. Especially, like, let's say if I get one now, then I don't have my holy water for this stage, which I don't really need it that badly for, but then I don't have it for the next boss, so that would be a huge time loss if I got stuck with some other sub-weapon. This one, you'll just be able to use only the whip to kill this boss. Stage 3 also has a boss, by the way, but we actually ended the stage early by going down into the swamp. Yeah, there's the Cyclops that you're actually going to see, like, in stage 7, because they rehashed the same boss, like, 3 times. So that's stage 4. Worst of it is those frogs. Once you get past those, you're pretty much home free. That and maybe some item drops. Then there's stage 5, which has recently been rerouted to be like about 2 seconds faster. So I'm definitely going to do like the new routing for this stage. I mean, during my Voltathon run, I obviously did something different because I didn't really think to do it this way back then. Like before, I was actually taking hits on that fireman there, now I'm not doing that. Also going to opt to whip that blob and not throw holy water on it, because I'm just trying to make sure that we don't just get a shot multiplier to drop now. Because I'm going to try and save that for the very end of the run. You'll see why once we get to stage A. That's still a long ways away, so let's just focus on what's in front of us right now. Okay, good, no drop. Because I really don't want to have to do the Alucard fight with some, like, really bad weapon for the fight. Like, there's only 2 weapons that are actually good for that specific fight. This is one of them. And let's say if I lost the holy water now, I wouldn't be able to recover any good weapon for the fight. Also gonna throw a few extra holy waters out, because usually I try to finish off every stage with 0 hearts. Well, those that have a boss at the end. Right, I hope this works. Okay, so you really want to kill this boss in 2 cycles, because if you have to wait for the 3rd cycle, you're losing about 7 seconds, or maybe 6 if you're fast enough to react to hitting him for like the last time when he respawns for the 3rd time. I just really wouldn't want to lose like 7 seconds on something I know how to do like very easily, and here's Alucard. So now we're going to see a different style of gameplay. And that's for wanting to finish levels with 0 hearts. That's because, like, the game will just count down how many hearts you have at the end of each stage, and obviously it takes less time to do so when you don't have any at all. But now I'm going to kind of just focus on this screen, because now it actually gets a bit tricky from here on out. This is slightly tricky. Of course, it's at least 100% controllable, but it doesn't make it that much easier. Nice. And that time I didn't get stuck in that ceiling there, because if you don't press the buttons in just the right manner, Alucard can kind of get his bat form stuck in that block ceiling, instead of just being able to fly straight to the left, like, as intended. Which actually happened to me on my most recent world record, somehow, despite the fact I felt like I was clearly pressing the buttons down right. Must have been some sort of oversight I couldn't even catch. And then this is just another of these bosses we kill with holy water spam. This one lags a lot more because he's also spawning bones that just produce a lot of lag when you destroy them. So that is the rest of Stage 5. Now Stage 6 is going to be really interesting to show off. I probably won't be saying much during the stage because it's pretty easy to mess up on a lot of things, especially with how it's been rerouted to be optimized to save like about a second and a half. I mean, when you're going for world record, everything counts, so... Of course, new time saves are eventually going to come along, even like some really hard ones. So I'm going to definitely try that routing of the stage, of course. But there is some safety meat I can grab before the boss, because with the way we've routed this stage, it's very likely you can now die to the boss on it. If you're not lucky, or you don't react fast enough to some of his rockfall patterns. I used to climb all the way up this flight of stairs to jump and grab 2 extra big hearts. Now we don't need to do that anymore. And then there's going to be a ceiling clip, the first major one in this route. And I get the tougher pattern, but I still nail it. One that I thought was actually impossible for all this time until I figured out that running in by known as sealed chambers figured out a way to actually do that. And I'll grab some safety meat. We'll see if we actually need it. Yeah, none of my double hits are going through at all, so good thing I grabbed it. couldn't stack any hits, so good thing I grabbed that. Would have died if I didn't. So now then, arguably the worst stage in this entire run, right here. When I say worst, I mean nastiest. There's just so much that can go wrong on it. And I'm gonna now attempt the hardest clip in the game. Got it. Toughest clip in the entire game right there. Well, at least in this route specifically. Toughest Alucard clip, at least. I don't know about other routes necessarily, well, as much as I know about this route, but even if you take every other possible way of playing the game into account, that's gotta be one of the toughest things to do in this game. And then not too long after that, we're going to be doing the most precise boss fight in the game as well. And then many of the things after that boss fight are actually fairly simple in comparison. Oh nice, I grabbed an extra heart. Got it. I was dreading that. So except for a pair of birds that might be a nuisance because they're fairly random, everything else after that bat fight's fairly simple, so if I mess anything up, send tweets about it to Air Canada. And I reacted just in time to those birds. Do some more flying here, and the reason why I was so nervous about heart count is because you need at least 9 to fly under this bridge, and having to go on top of the bridge itself as it was intended, that's significantly slower than just flying right under it. Oh, hey there, physicists. I'm already done like over half the run anyway. It's probably not going to be a new world record, but it's still going to be a really good time. So I wouldn't say it's dead. It's still well on track to be a sub 26. And we're going to switch back to Trevor for the boss fights, of course. There's going to be 3 bosses in this stage. All of them are pretty much faster to kill with Trevor. Did I get the bat kill? Yes, I did. Like, that's like the fastest and my most consistent iteration with the bat kill there is to date. Of course, I did something different for Voltathon. Something even more technical than that. But then I figured out you can do it even faster. So now let's just hope the Cyclops behaves. Looks like he will. Sometimes he doesn't charge at all, and then you can't corner him and get this quick kill like I just did. Sometimes he doesn't let you go through with that. Sometimes he doesn't charge at all. Threw 1 extra holy water by accident. We're gonna have a slower than optimal Leviathan kill, but it's not the end of the world. Like, I just really want to be absolutely sure that I just didn't die. How did the run die? Lost some time on stage 3 and then some extra on stage 6 by grabbing some safety meat. but I'd rather just make sure we actually at least stay alive here. That way I don't have to try and come up with some sort of backup strat on the fly in case I do die. Because that's not one of my strong points. Alright then, Stage 8. Probably one of the most notorious ones because it has an RNG element you pretty much can't control, and that might just kill a potential world record run. And it has on numerous occasions for me, so... Since we're just doing a marathon, it doesn't really matter that much if we get, like, the best outcome possible, but... Of course, I do want to see, like, Loax first try. And we got it. Because if that axe armor that just jumped into his axe, if he throws the axe high and not low, then you can't just jump into it to get that boost to that ceiling, and you'd have to either go down the stairs to reload the room and try again, or wait for the axe armor to throw another axe. So you really want to get that low axe as soon as possible. Because that's way faster than going around that part of the stage, since Alucard can clip the ceiling. Now the death fight, I gotta focus here. Because that's a very easy part of the fight to just mess up. Second phase is a lot easier to just do correctly. A lot more straightforward, too. That was actually a pretty good stage. Didn't say much about the death fight because I just want to make sure I did it correctly. And yeah, as I said at the beginning of the run, spoiler alert, this is hard to do optimally. But I'm gonna go for it anyway. I'm gonna do this screen without stopping. Or try to, more like it. And I messed it up. Uh-oh. I think we're in trouble here. Oh, yeah, we're in trouble. Right, so now I'm going to have to come up with some sort of a backup plan here. And now I'm going to get probably all the wrong Hunchback spawns because I just stopped for like a second there. So I'm going to get a set of Hunchbacks I am not at all familiar with. And I'm going to have to get my Holy Water back as well. Yeah, that's just life dealing with Hunchbacks, by the way. And I have to get my Holy Water back as well. Because when you die, every character loses their sub-weapons and whip upgrades, so Trevor has to get his stuff back too, by the way. Should have tried a bit hard to just clear the screen of Hunchbacks and then just continue moving right. So yeah, that was my misplay there. So we're gonna switch to Trevor, though I'd rather not do this because if I didn't lose my Holy Water from that death there, obviously I wouldn't need to. But since we have to recover that for this upcoming boss, I have to obviously switch to Trevor. And all I would really need is a double shot, by the way, but still, that's rough, to say the very least. And I almost forgot to switch to Trevor because this is the candle with the holy water in it. Like, this is what I'm going to recover off of. At least it's pretty easy to just recover the shot multiplier here. So ideally, I wouldn't have to switch characters at all. It's just I lost a sub-weapon I really need for this boss fight that's coming up. There's our shot multiplier. Let's also get a whip upgrade back, too. And now, more Alucard. Thanks for the GL, Jeff. Already took a death, so... I kind of do want to be more careful at this point. I should be a little more careful now. Like, I just had no luck with those hunchbacks. I was doing just fine in practice with that screen, too. That's the worst part about it. Now we're getting really annoying birds to boot. Also, it's something I didn't want. And I just want to have, like, 5 hearts. I could easily do it on 4 hearts, this boss fight, but I'd rather have, like, 5, just to guarantee that nothing goes wrong here. Like, I would not want to take another death. Then I wouldn't even have holy water to recover with. Possibly. So let's just try and get back on track after that death we took on Stage 9. Everything else past that point's been pretty good so far. Except for the obvious of having to switch to Trevor to regain holy water, but... everything else past that death was still really good. Yeah, that's why deaths can be really costly. Especially once you get multiple spirit helpers. Oh shit, and I just realized. Sorry, I just realized that I'm gonna be missing 1 heart. So I know what I'm gonna do. Ideally, I was supposed to actually have the stopwatch already, and the candle that I got a stopwatch from, I was supposed to just get another small heart. Because you pretty much need just about every heart you can get for the optimal routing on this stage, so I'm gonna have to stop off in 1 extra place to go grab another. I'm gonna do this ceiling clip, as per usual, but I'll grab that heart to make up for the one that I didn't get, because I lost the watch to that death that you saw on Stage 9. So I'll just do that to make up for it. So now all we need to do is just finish off Dracula here. Pretty technical fight, but as long as I just focus, I should be fine. Perfect phase 1, and let's just try and do the rest of it too. Though I almost never mess up the other 2 phases of the fight. And time. 26:36. Thanks for the GG, everybody. Just wish I hadn't taken that death there. Then we could have easily gotten under the 26-minute mark, easily. Because with strategy like that, that was pretty much like sub-26 material right there. It's just, I took a costly enough death that just made that pretty much completely out of my reach. So, let's say if I didn't die on Stage 9, I could have maybe seen myself losing another 5 seconds as opposed to like 45, and we would have definitely gone under the 26-minute mark in that case. Actually came